All right, so I just want to go through an explanation of why certain formulas using polar coordinates are the way they are. So right here we have a generic point on our polar grid. If we just put a triangle, so I drew a right triangle right through that point. Remember, the length from the pole to this coordinate is our radius. And then the length of the horizontal axis, if we put this on a rectangular coordinate system, that would be our x, and then the height would be our y. Okay, so if we think of this angle right here as theta, then cosine of theta, remember cosine is our adjacent over our hypotenuse, so it would be our x over our r, like shown right here. So our adjacent over our hypotenuse. Now, when we talk about polar and rectangular coordinates and converting between the two, we like to have x and y on their own side of the equation. So any rectangular coordinates are on one side of the equation. Everything else that's a polar coordinate, so r and theta, would be on the other side of the equation. So in order to solve this, I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by r so that the radius is on the same side of the theta. So that means our x values are equivalent to r times our cosine of theta. Likewise, we could find sine of theta by doing our opposite over hypotenuse. So in this case, y over r. And once again, I'm going to multiply both sides by r, which means that sine is the same thing as r times sine of theta. Now there's another formula that we have, and that's for tangent of theta. Now tangent of theta is equivalent to your opposite over your adjacent. Okay, so that would be y over x. Now I don't have to solve for anything because both x and y are rectangular coordinate values, so we're just going to keep this equation as is. Now there's one other equation. So far we have x equals r cosine of theta, y equals r sine of theta, and tangent equals y over x. There's one more equation that we use, and that's just using the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem says a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Well, c squared is our hypotenuse, in this case r. So we could say x squared plus y squared has to be equivalent to r squared. And that's where this last equation comes from. So these are the four main equations we use in any problem from here on out.